My recorder started here. Yeah, I'm going to do a very quick recap of last week. So, the power of paradox. And Gary very brilliantly pointed out that there's only oneness, which is absolutely correct. And that is the key to understanding paradox, because what happens is there are few people that live their lives out of oneness, but most of us live our lives out of duality, which Gary very astutely pointed out does not exist. And yet we believe in it deeply. So, the first power of paradox is your mind. Since there's only oneness, and we know that all that is love, that means that everything in this world is love. So then, can you get your mind around the fact that Jesus Christ was love? Yeah, we got that. But what about Adolf Hitler? How do you resolve the two? Because there is nothing in existence that's not all that is. So the first power of paradox is mind expansion. The second power of paradox is what I call the pause of power. And by the way, this is on YouTube on my 422 channel from Miles 422 from last week. So I'm just doing a real quick recap here. The pause of power. And it's this: whenever you get in a situation where you think the power is outside of you in a person, a thing, or event, it's not. All the power's in you. So when you take your pause, you reclaim your power. Take your pause and say, I am in charge, I am the creator. Take your power back. And when you do that, that is astoundingly powerful. And I'm not going to go into it here, but it's so powerful. It's just that one act alone of taking the pause, reclaiming your power. In effect, you could say you're reclaiming your oneness with all that is. Reclaiming your power changes everything dramatically. So today, the next paradox, I'm going to build on that, and I'm going to talk about the paradox of others. Because I'm really clear, as I live my life, others are my creation. When I sat in the hot seat with Abraham, she said, they don't have a choice. They show up and match your vibration. And I'm clear that that's correct, on the one hand. On the other hand, and this is the paradox, you know you're independent, don't you? So on the one hand, I'm creating you. You're all that is. You're infinite. So the part of you that I pulsate or vibrate into my life in resonance with who I am and who my vibration is an exact match for me. And you do that for me because you've gifted me your energy with unconditional love, so that I can grow into my oneness, my godhood, because whatever's in my life I create, and I can count on that because you have gifted me your energetic signature without conditions. Now, it's important to understand that because we're recreating reality every split second, actually, it's Planck's constant from quantum mechanics. We create reality from the 0 point 10 billion trillion times a second. And because of that, we can simultaneously be creating new, brand new every instant, your match to my vibration and your independence, because each one of those instants you're choosing to gift me your energy, and when you're not there. So that's the power of paradox in others, that you are at the same time an exact reflection of me and completely independent. Now, Reba and I joke with each other, since she's my creation. She says, well, would you please create me different for heaven's sake? And 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 it's really easy to get into that, and it's a lot of fun to play with too. But this is the reality. In our reality, in our world, in our bubble, it's never ever them, ever. So whenever you start thinking that it's somebody else, however you construe that, it's not. It's always you. You are the center. You are the center of the universe. You are the point of oneness existing in your reality. Okay, now I'm just going to build on that because as the energy is moving, I think we all are feeling that what's happening is this: the energy of our reality is rising, and it's lifting everybody. But what it's also lifting is what's inside of us. So if there are things inside of us that we haven't been paying attention to, and we found a way to avoid, well, as the energy rises, that vibration, that energy is passing through us. That's the way reality is created. Energy flows through us and is projected onto the walls of our bubble. It's the only way in. That means that stuff that we've been able to hide from in the past, we can't, and it's showing up in our lives, and it's pretty uncomfortable for most people. So, this is along the lines of when Esther says, it's the best of times and the worst of times. So as we connect with our oneness, as we connect with our center, it's wonderful. And as we don't, as what's out there that we haven't accepted, that's getting projected outside of us now, it can be the worst of times. But a point of power, when you take your pause of power and reclaim your power, all of a sudden you start being in control and you start saying, yeah, it may be outside of me, but I can find a way to deal with this. It's always going to be your way. It's always going to be unique, but you've now got the power. And from that place, then you can say, the better it gets, the better it gets. And from a quantum perspective, every instant, that 10 billion trillion times a second, every instant is completely new from the 0 point. So if you weren't happy with the last second, this second's completely new, and your whole life is now become the launching pad for the next second in your life. So you get to do it over and over and over again the way you want, with a completely clean state every instant. It's very powerful. Now, one of the things that you can do with this really powerful information is go back and re-examine the Abraham exercises. Many of us have done 2 or 3 or even 4 years ago, Ask and It Is Given. We did quite a few lessons from there. If you will go back and re-examine those lessons, some of the lessons were a book of positive aspects or doing grid work. If you will go back, and there's 22 lessons there, and re-examine those lessons in the light of what I'm telling you, you will find that they were infinitely more powerful than you thought. And when you originally... Hold up there for a second. Hold up. Okay. Are you there? Yeah, I'm here. I'm going to hang up and call you again, all right? Because we're not getting you at all. Oh, wow. Well, you know what happened? A big ship just passed in front of me. So I noticed that when that happens, you guys go out, and maybe I went out. Can you hear me now? Well, go ahead. Okay. So are you hearing me now? Yeah. Okay, good. So, the way I want to end this up is this. Keep in mind that when we're looking at others, or when we look at things outside of ourselves, they are our creation, 1. 2, that everything is love. 3, that every part of this universe and every universe is love. Every particle is. And that every particle of the universe is oriented to us with superlative loving intent. Okay, part 2 of my presentation. This has to do with non-physical. And, you know, it's the realm of fairies and angels and whatever else you want to think is in non-physical. So, before I get into this, I want to say that all that is all inclusive. All that is not exclusive. All that is doesn't say, well, we're going to cut this out, and we're going to cut that out, and that's not going to be part of reality. It doesn't work that way. All that is all inclusive and loves that and takes it in, and that's why no matter what our viewpoint, we get a continuous stream of confirmation for it. So, this has to do with non-physical. And this is pretty astounding, but it's very, very powerful and really tons and tons of fun. You create non-physical. Now, lots of us tell ourselves, I create my own reality, and at least intellectually, most of us believe that deeply, if not in a knowing way inside ourselves. We believe we create our own reality. And what I'm saying to you is that you also create non-physical reality. Now, is Archangel Michael there, and Archangel and Christopher and Gabriel and all the other non-physical things you think are there? Yeah, they're all there. All I'm saying is that they're just a teeny part of non-physical. And most of that energy is just hanging around. Actually, it's hanging around you, just waiting for you to put it to use. So start creating things that you want in your life, like a posse of angels. Or you can make it like Star Wars. Make an angel, a gnome, a fairy, a dragon, whatever rings your bell. But you can create that energy and take it with you. And this is really powerful because I never get in my car without going with Traveler and James. You know, you've heard of Home James? He's my driver. And Traveler takes care of all the issues that might come up when I'm traveling. And they keep me safe and they keep me focused and they make my trips a joy, whether it's in the car or on a plane. So when you have a posse that you ride with, what you're doing is you've created a focus for energy, and that focus is bringing that energy to you, and that's the way you're going to experience your life. Now, this is far more powerful, and I learned this from Gina at the start of the group 6 years ago, and it's this. When you start, you can intend an emotion. Now, you're not intending a car or a house or a big pile of money, which you may or may not have beliefs about that cause resistance, and so it doesn't show up in physical reality. But almost none of us have any resistance whatsoever to emotions. And when you make a determination during the day that you want to have a certain emotion, you know, when you set your intention in the morning to have that emotion, you can. And it's powerful. Because that intention, creating that emotion creates a window into physical reality, into the infinitude of probabilities that are in front of us. And when you're feeling good, hopefully you're creating good emotions. When you're feeling good, the probabilities that show up in your window for you to see are very good. And when you're feeling bad, for whatever reason, and it can be your choice to feel bad. You know, sometimes things happen to us and we want to feel bad. But the thing of it is, then bad things are going to start showing up in our lives. That's just the way it is. They go together. And when you're looking through your window of probabilities into physical reality and you feel bad, the stuff you see is bad. You don't have access to the good stuff. That's a different window. That's a different energy. That's a different vibration. And the last thing is, so you can calibrate your vibration by the world that you're living in. You know, I do dreams every night and I get wonderful, wonderful insight and inspiration from them. But the fact of the matter is that you can get just as much from your physical reality as I get from a dream, because your physical reality is an exact reflection of your vibration. So if you're wondering where you're at with your vibration, if you're start paying attention to your inner compass and look at the reality that's right in front of you. Now, a couple of suggestions. One, say what you want in 4 areas of your life: in health, in love, in money, in purpose. And be clear about and feel those. Feel what you want in those areas, because when you're working with non-physical, if you can give them a clear picture of what you want in a feeling way, because it's not intellectual, vibration is feeling. If you can give them a clear picture of what you want in a feeling way, then the universe has a chance to line that up for you. And the next part of that is that you get to do this new every second. You get to do this new every. So if you were a complete failure the last second, so what? You got another new second here, completely new. Okay, so that's part 2. Part 3, and this has to do with energy. And this has to do with sort of like unleashing yourself. So we create our own reality in the physical world. We create it in the non-physical world. So start doing that with abandon. And realize that when you're doing it, whether it's physical or non-physical, the energy that you're using has a breathtakingly powerful predisposition to help you. So let me put this a different way. There's only one stream of energy in the universe, and that's pure positive energy. And all that is created that when she created this reality by her focus. And she always focuses on the positive. So that's the only stream of energy that exists in physical reality, pure positive energy. Now, I want you to think of this like Shakespeare's garden or like a farmer. You can plant seeds, and are those seeds going to grow? So if you plant a seed in harmony with what already is the pure positive energy of the universe, it has an enormous push to grow. So if you're thinking about good things and working on good things and focusing on good things, then good things are going to start showing up in your life, because that's the way the whole universe is oriented. However, we have free will. And if you're going to look at negative things, you can create them. Now, it's at least 100 times harder to create something negative in your life than it is something positive. It's at least 100 times harder. So every time something negative shows up in your life, give yourself a huge amount of credit, because that means you're breathtakingly powerful to run so hard against the stream and create that, because it's not easy. It's really hard. However, what I would suggest is, if you know the 4 things, health, love, money, and purpose, and you focus on those things and what you want, the universe has a huge predisposition to create those for you. And if you follow your inner compass, and I can't emphasize how important that is, because when you're doing these creations, if they feel good, you're going in the right direction. But if you follow your inner compass and they're going bad, they don't feel good, then stop. Step back, go more general, and then go back at it either then or later, depending on how you hold your focus and how you're holding your feelings. So it's so delightful to be back. I love you all. Oh, wow. It's so great to get my GTS ecstasy fixed this week. Thank you. And that's it. Thanks.